I see we have two attendees as of now. So welcome Richard and welcome Weber. In today's webinar, okay, we've one more joining us. Welcome Wasim. So today's the fourth webinar I'll be presenting. We have already covered three, which consisted of the previous the software. In today's section, we shall be covering the reporting section for StockTake Online. If either of you were in our first, second, or third webinar, you would know that we did cover how we set up the software, how we put in products. In the second webinar, we covered how recipes are made, how batches are made, how we analyze them, how they're broken down, how the system calculates what is being done with the system. And then in the third webinar, we discussed in case we have multi-location databases, how do we do transfers, how do we do inward and outward adjustments. And in today's webinar, we will be covering the complete reporting section. Some of them are proprietary reports, which have been created by StockTake Online, while some of them are been introduced on the request of clients, helping other clients as well. Starting with today's presentation, we are doing reports. So before we get into reports, uh, why STO, why we recommend uh, why we recommend people to follow STO, the features we have. Let me explain a little bit about to you. Why would you want to opt for STO? We have a feature of stock control, which is our primary software, what it's running for, stock inventory. We have the feature for recipe management. We have the feature for product overseeing, for ordering, delivering, tracking, for supplier administration, reporting analysis, transfer between locations, which was discussed in the previous webinar. And then we have something now which we call the enterprise mode. So starting with stock control, the feature. Basically, this I'll explain it, give you a brief overview, and then we'll continue. It's basically our stock management software, which helps you maximize your profits and increases efficiency based on your sales by giving you real-time data. Now, this could be data for sales, depletion, inventory, so on and so forth. Then we have recipe management. Now, this simply keeps track of ingredients needed to ensure accuracy. And when we are ensuring accuracy, we are avoiding waste while making it while making it less error prone. Then the third feature is product overseeing, which is what we are going to buy, what we have in stock, what needs to be ordered or reordered. Then we have ordering and delivery tracking. Now, this is a convenient way to tracking all our pending orders or what is going to be delivered, so on and so forth. And the status is maybe we want to make some edits to our purchasing orders, so on and so forth. Then we have supply administration, where we can easily analyze our suppliers based on factors like spending, purchased quantity from them, and many more other factors without having to check logbooks, go back and forth, checking the logbooks. Then we have the reporting analysis section, which we shall be covering in detail today. Now, this is giving us real-time access to data in the system that allows us to see how these processes are functioning. If they're functioning in sync, if there is something not right, it lets us find those unexpected bottlenecks. And once we find those bottlenecks, we can make the rectification in real time. Then we have transfer between locations. Now, the transfer between locations is very simple. It's sending products from one location to another. In case there's a shortage at one place, we can do internal transfers, record it. So it gives us accountability. And the last is the enterprise. Now, the enterprise was recently introduced into StockTake. This is mainly the last two features mainly come into play when we have multi-location sites. So the enterprise is where we can review and compare data like gross profit, or supplier turnover, and many more reports based on deliveries, individual suppliers for multiplication for multiple locations in one place. So you can have an executive. Usually, this is used by the executives where they can see collective data for all their locations. So those are some of the features. Now coming to some of the value-added services that StockTake provides. As if you have been working with StockTake Online, you will know we provide around-the-clock support for our customers. Then we have a quick resolution time. We also have on-site training for UK and UAE. We have very specific client-tailored setups for the system for our clients. We have training at all levels, which are operating at the back of house or in the kitchen. Then, unlike our competitors, we have no limit on the registration of users in the kitchen. Then, from time to time, R&D has been done, and which has resulted in feature enhancement. Now, this could have been done by StockTake itself or inputs from our clients to make their experience better. Then we also have a client. We have also, as I just mentioned, we have also implemented client requirements which have benefited other clients. So yes, from time to time, we are uh, upgrading the software, giving new features, and so. And the last feature is multiple levels of security. So this comes into play for orders or someone doing certain kind of transfers where there needs to be a check. So we can place in like there's a multi-level of security where it will be approved by multiple hierarchies, also reducing any errors or wastage. So those are for value-added services by StockTake Online. Now, all of you are aware of that we are global. We have a lot of restaurants like Koya, Amazonico, Nobico. We have a lot of partners which we are working with globally from different places around the world. Yeah, so that's some of our partners there up on your screen. Now coming to the reporting section and what our webinar today is about. So let me quickly take you to the homepage. So if you are aware of, that's how our homepage looks like for those who are you have been using. For those who are using for the first time, this is our main dashboard. Excuse me, where we have most of things which are used daily right up on the dashboard, and then accordingly the secondary things we have in various menus. So we did discuss a lot of operations in the past three webinars. We saw how they are managed, and in today's webinar we are doing the reporting section. If you see on your screen, these are the proprietary reports which were not created. I won't say proprietary, but yes, which uphold the software, which they are done in their own way. So yeah, in one way you can say proprietary reports, which are gross profit report, stock take report, consumption report, something which in SEO we called unlinked sales report. And then there's a tab where you could add your favorite reports. Apart from these four primary reports, we have secondary reports under the reports section, which I shall show you once we are finished with the four reports. So starting with the first report from the dashboard, we are going to talk about the stock take report. So basically the stock take report is to see in which given period. Now, if you were there in our webinars or you're a user, you will know that we operate on a period basis. Now, these periods could be of 7 days, maybe 15 days, a fortnight, monthly, quarterly for the year, a half yearly. This is to take your stock and at least know where you stand with inventory. So I'm just going to put in, we have periods. This was a demo. We created monthly periods. I'll select a certain period, and then we can specifically search for what category we want to view the stock. So in this, let's take kitchen as a whole, and let's see what the report shows us. So basically, this report will show us the actual stock take, what we put in at the end while we did stock take. So on the 31st of March, which was the third period, it will show you the category, the group, the product, the pack size, what it was, its cost, the stock quantity which we had in hand, and what was the stock value. A very basic report, but very important report if we want to go back and check what was left when. So this is one of the reports. Now coming to the consumption report, a very interesting report. Basically, this shows us what consumption was done during the period. When I say consumption, what was the opening stock? Again, we'll select a period here. Let's go for the kitchen section. and we can see it for, you can further break it down for its grouping. So let's do it for meat, and we'll see a report over here giving us a rough idea as to what was not rough but very precise. My mistake. Very precise calculations on the category, the product, the pack size, the cost count. Now, the cost count right here means how are we taking stock of that particular product. So for lamb boneless, at the end of my period, I put in how many kgs is left. So over here, it shows us that the opening stock in the third period. So the closing stock, this is the closing stock for the second period, is 17.5. We didn't purchase anything. We have no adjusting quantities. Now, adjustments are two. We have two kinds of adjustments, which are inward and outward. Inwards could be maybe a free sample we have got, which we want to record against no revenue, and or outward adjustments like wastage, staff food, maybe complimentary, maybe a party, something, so on and so forth. Those come here. If you see lower down, you'll see minus. So we'll just see what was the adjustment there, but coming back. And then at the end of the third period, for meat, lamb boneless, because there was no purchase, there was no adjusting quantity, and the closing quantity was 1.75. Therefore, actual consumption is the system's calculation of opening stock plus purchasing stock next to it, plus or minus adjusting, and minus closing stock is what theoretically was used in the system, according to the system, what was used. So it shows you over here what is the theoretical count. The consumption, theoretical consumption, is what is coming from the EPOS. What is the actual consumption is what the system is calculating. And any variance between the actual consumption and the theoretical consumption is variance. Now, variance will show up here. So if we see in pork shoulder, 19.75 opening stock, added 99. There was some adjustments made. Closing stock was 29.2. What was put in manually by the person. So the system calculated that 10.75 kgs should be left, and sales were for 10.5, and 10.75 was what the system calculated. 10.5 is what the sales calculated through the EPOS, and so the system shows us that there is a variance. There is a difference of 0.25, and that is the variance quantity you have and the variance cost. So this is primarily what the consumption report is about. I'll go into a little detail when we come into the reporting section here, specifically for consumption report. But moving forward from here, let's go to the next report, which is the gross profit report. Now, the gross profit report and the consumption report are very similar reports. There are a little two differences. Firstly, the gross profit report is reporting everything in terms of value. What is the value of the stock left? Whereas the consumption report is letting us know whatever the value is for uh, quantitatively in kgs, grams, liters, milliliters. Whereas the gross profit is in dirhams, pounds, dollars, whatever it is for your respective kitchen. So again, we have to see, we can compare two periods for gross profit. We can see between periods what the gross profit was like. So I say I want to check the gross profit report from the second period right up to the end of third period, right? Now it will show me. Now coming to what these if you see, you see a lot of topping these uh, headings on the top, like operation opening stock, sorry. Then we have purchase. Then I just explained these to you on a consumption report. Then we have adjustment. We have closing stock. Now we have something more elaborate, cost of sales. Now the cost of sales is the amount of stock that was sold. Now this is in value, the amount. Then we have EPOS sales. The EPOS sales is the money value of the sales which came in through the EPOS, what the EPOS has dictated stock take as sale. So it says that for the kitchen, there was a total sale of 48,042 from the EPOS, which was pushed. Then we have the actual GP. Now, the actual GP is the money value of the of gross profit from those sales, right? Then we have the actual GP percentage, which is the gross profit as a percentage of the cost. Then we have theoretical sales, which is the money value of sales based on recipes. Again, theoretical sales is the money value of sales based on recipe. Then we have the theoretical GP. Now, the theoretical GP is the theoretical gross profit taken from the theoretical sales. We have similarly for the percentage is the gross profit as a percentage of the cost. And then we have variance, the difference which is coming between the actual and the theoretical GP. So over here now you will see same module. What it shows us that some variances are there. For example, we can see a variance in poultry, a very high variance in poultry. There is a high variance in meat. There is a 6.3 variance in kitchen as a whole. So this is the category. This is the subcategory, and then these are the groupings. Now, interesting thing about the gross profit report is that you can go further into it, expand it, and see where exactly the issue was happening. So for me, what I'll do is if I want to see where it was going wrong, I can see something seems horribly wrong going on. Actual GP for poultry is too low, too negative, negative 840. So I can click on that and it further brings me into now the products under poultry. So under poultry, I have chicken boneless, I have chicken whole, I have chicken wings. Now I come to the actual GP percentage and see what is going on. Over here, I see chicken whole has an actual GP of minus 135. Something has gone wrong. So I can go ahead again, press on the actual GP for chicken whole and expand it further. Now I see that between period 2 and 3, these are the list of deliveries which came in. Okay, here I see. Usually we do not order a lot. We are ordering 1 pack or 11 packs. Maybe I was trying to order 15. I accidentally pressed 150. That inflated the stock. It got in more, not inflated, but it got in more deliveries. A delivery was accepted at 150, which increases the stock. So maybe if it was 15, now I'll go back and see. All right, that's gone. Just let me open that real quick again. Um, just a second. Okay, so that here. So if I see here, even to further break it down, like I went down to exactly see when the deliveries were done or what are the sales against them, so on and so forth. But on if I come out, I could see I had an opening stock of 30. There was these were adjustments. Then there was a purchase of 1620. Then we had adjustments and then the closing stock. So it doesn't really add up. 30 plus 1620, which is about a 1650, a 1650 minus 248. Now that was what my actual stock closing stock was to be, but I recorded a stock of 52. So it has counted that 1350 was sold, whereas nothing was sold. So because based on this calculation, the system shows me a trigger that okay, there's something wrong here. So if you have questions regarding how the GP report works, I'm willing to take those now so that I could explain it now rather than moving forward, and then coming back to it. Do I have any one with any questions up to now? All right. So we'll go right ahead. Now that is what a gross profit report is about. It is a more expanded. You can really expand it. You can see what report, like what product, how it is functioning, where it has been, when the deliveries came in, were there any transfers for that product to another location. But the gross profit report really, really breaks it down to the last problem where it could be occurring. And usually the consumption report or the variances which come between them will come in case there is an error in not entering maybe the correct closing stock, which is the next period's opening stock, maybe not entering in the correct accepting the deliveries, could have been adjustments are not correctly made. There are many factors, so we can actually go step by step and see where the problem is. So now these are the reports which are available on the dashboards. Now we have our secondary reports which come under the report section on the dashboard right here. Once you click on it, you will see we have them subdivided into product list, products, orders and deliveries, batches and recipes, transfers and adjustments, live reports, stock and consumption, sales GP, these two I just spoke to you about, and admin report. We had another report on the dashboard, which was unlinked sales report. Now, the unlinked sales report are basically the report where all the sales will come in which do not have a PLU number. Now, a PLU number is basically a number which is assigned to a certain recipe through which the EPOS and the stock line, the inventory management system which we are providing, StockTake, communicate to let the backend or StockTake know that a burger was sold and accordingly it should deplete one bun, so much grams of chicken, a patty, so much sauce, so that we have real-time access to what was sold and how much is left. There's a report base for that as well. We'll come to that also. So I am not going to, in detail, go through all the reports. I'll go through the major ones. A lot of them are self-explanatory. If you hover on them when you have time and if you have access to the report section, so when you hover over them, they give you a brief explanation as to what the reports are going to be. But I shall show you some of them. I shall explain to you some of them verbally and show you some of them on the screen. So starting with the product report, product bit. So first we have the product list. The report looks something like this. You can go ahead and select for whatever you want. You could categorize it. You could see the product list for just spirits and not soft drinks, or maybe beverage as a whole, or just gin in the spirits, so on and so forth. You could really break them down and view your report. Gives you very basic information like what's the product, what the category it's under, who's the supplier for it, if there is any product code assigned to it, what's the pack size, what's the cost, what's the tax that has been applied on it, and something called par level, which I did explain it in the first webinar for, but any of you who weren't there, par level is the minimum quantity that the system will maintain. If the stock for that product falls below the par level, a notification will be sent to your email once it has been enabled from the system. And it shows you a report. There's a dedicated report to it as well. We'll come to that. So this is for product list. Then we have the product allergen report. Now, the product allergen report is basically showing us the allergens in certain products that we have. So in burger bun, it's showing for gluten. For eggs, it's showing in eggs. For milk, it's showing for all-purpose flour, it's showing gluten. For milk, it's showing milk, maybe lactose intolerant. So this will break down for what products have what kind of allergens. Then we have the unlinked product sale. This is not unlinked product sale, sorry. This is unlinked products. Unlinked products are all those products which are not linked to any recipe. So I could have registered, I could have uploaded them into the system, but as of now, they are not tied up to any recipe. So none of the recipes created on the system, which I'm showing you, have either of these recipes. One more thing to note, sometimes one supplier may have, one product may have multiple suppliers and multiple pack sizes. So in case a particular supplier for that product with a particular pack size is being used in the recipe, any other pack sizes or suppliers in that product will show up on this list. So we have to be a little careful. Now, helps us again to see what products are not needed, and we can sort it out by looking at the unlinked product report. Product header list is the small report for any products which do not have a pack size, only have the product as a name and the section and category. and they group. They do not have any pack size to them. The next report under product is the product list with price variation. Over here, over a period, starting date, like we can see for a kitchen, the category, we can again subdivide it, sub filter it. Then we can see start date, end date. And this report basically shows us the product category, supplier, the pack size, what is the current price that is registered in the system for that product, what was the last delivery price, its all-time low and all-time high price. So we have a discrepancy. If you see here for bacon strips, the all-time low was 16.8, all-time high was 18 because the last price that we received it as was 18. So yeah, they are. This report states the price variance. Now, a price variance on deliveries. This report shows us if there were changes to any variance in prices during delivery between the price on the purchase order and while accepting on and the price on the invoice. So any products with the date, with the delivery number, with all the details will show you if there was any discrepancy. So this is the price variance on deliveries. Quantity variance is similar to price, but here it is for the quantities if there was any discrepancy in quantities while in the PO which was given and while the delivery was being accepted. Delivery by date shows you all the deliveries by the date. You can pick up a particular date. Then we have the pending orders by order and date delivery. Although this will show on your dashboard. So let me just take you back real quick. So if you see on your home page, on the top right corner, if there are any pending orders or deliveries, it usually shows up over here for the current period. In case you want to see it on a particular date, then you can view the pending order by delivery. Next, we have the delivery by category report. We can start the period. We can select between two periods. So if I want to do it between the second and the fourth, I will see all the deliveries by, and it will sort it out by the category. So beverages and kitchen, the order date, delivery date, total amount, tax, net amount, from which supplier, invoice number, all this report is under delivery by category. Then we have delivery summary by product for a period. So we can see a complete detailed a report of every product within a given period. Again, a period is the stock take in the time in between which we keep taking a stock take. So we can do it based on a product within a period. The next report is for the same things, but for a particular date. Then we have a delivery summary of products which are free of cost. So in case there is any product which I am accepting delivery for at zero price, it will come up under this report. Just let me briefly show you. So for kitchen, let me check for the current period, which is the fifth period, the ongoing month. Okay, over here I see that the product spaghetti pasta, uh, I got one quantity for it for no price, whereas one bag cost me 10. So the last time I ordered two, which I paid for, uh, there is one which I got for free, maybe a buy two get one free offer. But now the system has calculated it that it has got 3 kgs for 20, the amount of 20. Accordingly, it will be broken down in your costing when it is put into a recipe. So those reports can be viewed here. The delivery summary by product, free of cost, all the products. The next one is by supplier. So we can look at for every individual supplier, the same report. Then we have product expiry information. Now, the product expiry information, the report will only show up when we will put in the expiration date for the products when they come in, when we're accepting the delivery. So every time we accept a delivery, there is a column, a specific column given. If you have to cross-verify the quantity coming in, the cost, what was uh, agreed upon. If there's any variance, we'll make those changes. And if you have information on the expiration date, those details will show up here. Delivery by days within the month, on what day you were getting deliveries. This report basically shows you that. So if I go, I want to see in a particular period. So in the third period, on which all days I got the delivery, it will show me that. So on Wednesday, I got a delivery from Alcohol Co. And the amount was 1490. And then on Saturday, I had another delivery come in. Similarly, for Meat Co, I had one on Wednesday and then one on Saturday. So it will put out the report to me on a day basis. So that is delivery by day. Coming to the next report, it's a delivery report for a selected supplier. So if I want to check for any particular supplier, I may want to check the report for just my supplier known as alcohol, who's giving me alcohol, or all the beverages, the grocery meats. For example, I could put in a meat company. I could see it in a specific period. So in the third period, let's see what has meat company delivered to us. All the delivery reports will come in. We have the order number, we have the order date, we have the delivery date with the reference number, and then we have the invoice number, the net amount, tax amount, total amount. This we can do for a given period by selecting individual suppliers, supplier specific. All right. In another interesting report for StockTake Online, supplier turnover, we can see what kind of money we have spent on our suppliers between periods. So let's see, from when I've started the webinar is when this demo account started. So from the first till date, what has been our supplier turnover? It shows us what kind of money we have spent. So on an annual basis, if I'm thinking I'm spending quite a bit, I'm giving Beverage Co enough business, I may ask for discounts, tell them that I'm doing this kind of purchase. So this gives me a cumulative amount of my suppliers, what I'm spending on my suppliers between two dates. So that is the supplier turnover report. Moving on to the next section, we finish with orders and deliveries, coming to batches and recipes. Now, batch scaling, it's a report very specific to StockTake. I do not believe anyone else has such a report, any of the competitors. I wouldn't know though. But batch scaling is basically, let me give you an example. Tomorrow, there's a party in the kitchen. We need to make maybe 500 burgers. So what my chef does, he's put in a basic batch, which he creates. Now he has to make 500 beef burgers. He's making beef patty as a batch, and then he puts the scale factor of 500. It lets him know that for 500 portions of beef patty, what are the ingredients and what are the quantities which need to go in to make that specific batch. Beef patty, 500 portions, what the spice mix, the corn flour, the garlic, the olive oil, the pepper, the salt, the beef boneless. So it will give me a complete breakdown of what I need to put in for 500 portions of beef patties. That's the batch scaling report. Then we have the recipe listing with total cost. So I can select a recipe. Let me do kitchen because beverages are usually standalone products. So in the kitchen, if you open it, I'll see that what is the cost for under burgers. Now, if I have a chicken burger, what is the cost of it? What is the sales, the tax on it? What is my sales price? What is my recipe cost? What is my gross profit on it? PLU number, coming back to uh, the linkage, the communication between the EPOS and StockTake Online. What EPOS sales is the percentage of EPOS sales. Maybe I'm doing a combo meal. Maybe I want to give total revenue 80% to burger and 20% to a beverage. I can do that here while I create the recipe. And the rest of the details are there on the screen. Now, this is a recipe with total cost. Next report, coming to the next report. We have recipe allergens. So this will show us what recipes have what allergens. Like the product list has allergens, so the burgers will show up as gluten, or any recipe which has milk or mushrooms or shellfish, and they have been highlighted in that recipe. This report will show us a complete detail of all the recipes which have allergens marked up in them. Then we have a recipe with product consumption. So in this case, it will show us how much product is going very specifically into a recipe. So if I see for kitchen, in the selected period, for chicken burger in the third period, the total consumption for chicken burger has been, I have sold a total of 105 quantity. So how many red onions went in for those 105 quantity? There's a breakdown of it, and it gives me in total how much has gone, right? So extra chicken patty, I have 100, and because I had 105 with extra chicken patties, it will give me a breakdown of how much of uh, uh, product went into it. So that is for our recipe with product consumption report. Then we have our recipe with a product cost information. So this report now for smash burger, it is showing me what all I'm using in the recipe. Then it's showing me its line cost. It's showing me my gross profit I'm making against what it's the selling, what it cost me to make. Cost me 0.92, selling at 15. What's my gross profit? Complete detail of all your recipes under this list. Now this report shows us for a category. Now the next report will show us per recipe. We could select a recipe and it will give us an extreme detailed report as to what it is doing with it. So recipe info with product cost information. Now over here, if you see, I have all these recipes which I've made. Now usually the beverage recipes are standalone or do not have a lot of ingredients unless they are cocktails. So let me put in for a pork burger overload. And in this report, it will show me the complete breakdown of what is the cost to me to create this pork overload burger. So yes, costing us 3.4. What is the usage quantity? One portion is going. Line cost for me, one piece of burger bun. What's the line cost? Bacon strips, so on. A complete breakdown. Very, very detailed reports. Now these reports are again secondary reports, which were from time to time with R&D have been developed. And just to let you know that these reports can be downloaded in different formats. You can download it in your Excel, PDF, or workbook. Also, there is raw data available in case you need it, in case you need to process it through your own software. So that was for recipe info with product cost information. Coming to the next is recipe template with product information. Now, if you were there with us in the second webinar, I did speak on what recipe templates are. Basically, recipe templates are templates that are created on the software so that there is a consistency over different locations. This comes into play again when we have multiple location sites. So if I have location A, location B, location C serving the same food, I set a certain template which then helps me keep in control a lot of things like cost, quality, so on and so forth. So this will give us the detail for what product is going into those recipe templates. A recipe without PLU, again, this will show us any recipe which doesn't have a PLU. All these recipes in this report, if were sold via the EPOS, will not show up in StockTake Online and will show in unlinked sales report, which was on the dashboard. But you could also view that report from here. So we can see that Smash Burger is a recipe without a PLU. So if I've had any sales for Smash Burger, that is not going to be depleted from my stock or added to the revenue because it's not my system is not picking it up. Sorry, revenue will be added, but stock will not be depleted because the system needs the PLU to deplete the stock. So that is the recipe without PLU. Then we have, okay, another very interesting report is the menu analysis report. We are looking at it for beverage alcohol, right from when we started, right up to last month. And let's analyze how did our beverage alcohol menu bit perform. So StockTake will analyze your sales, compare them against your cost, and then subcategorize your analysis into four sections. One is popular and profitable, where it is being sold. It is a popular item and is profitable for the organization, the restaurant. Then popular but not very profitable. This could be because of high cost of production, the cost price. Then we have non-popular but profitable, have a lot of profit against selling the product, but they are not very popular. And then we have non-popular and non-profitable. So the basic use of this report or the play comes into place when we want to maybe modify the menu or see which items we want on the menu or which items we want to push off the menu. So this is based on numbers. This is what how you're performing. So that's how the system has identified this and put them into its four different sections that it identifies them under. So that is for the menu analysis report. Next is recipe with product detail information. So let me put here kitchen, and once we view the report. So here you have individual recipes with the product information. Now we have gone through a similar recipe and a similar report which gives its complete breakdown. But over here, when it means product detail information, it will show you the product's detail information like group, like what pack size it is, its supplier, what are we yielding out of it. So like if you see for tomatoes, the yield is 90%. Now probably the chef is taking 10% off in wastage or many other things, spoilage. So yeah, this shows us the complete details of the products which are going and how they are being identified in StockTake. So that is the recipe with product detail information. So that is for the batches and recipes. Coming to the next, which are transfer and adjustments, which were in detail again discussed in detail in the last webinar. I'll just do a run through. So the first report shows us all the transfers and adjustments between periods. So if there were any transfers I'd made between locations, or if there were any adjustments I'd made within the location, the summary for all that detail between two periods. So from maybe the second to the fourth period, I could view it from here. Adjustment summary by category between periods. Now, this again similar to the top one, but no transfers. Now, this is what all has happened internally, and this has been categorized by various. This has been differentiated by the category, how the categories have been performing, what adjustments were made within those categories of what products between a period. Adjustment by product per period. Now, this is for specific products that were adjusted in the period. Now, also keep in mind that batches also come into products because they are a sub recipe for the main recipe. So, pizza dough is a recipe in itself, but also acts as a standalone ingredient for the main recipe. So, those will come, the adjustments for that will show over here. Self-explanatory again, transfer summary by product between a period. So any transfers which were done between two locations for a product, all the summary will show there. Then this is a transfer summary by location. So we can check it to which location specifically was sent, what was sent. Transfer dispute summary. Now maybe I have transferred say 10 packets of product A to location 2, but they received only 9. Now they accept the transfer at 9. So they have disputed for 1. So now any disputes which have taken place, all the disputes, the summary for that, which date, what happened with the comments will show under this report. Coming to the next report is transfer by category, transfers of products for the category between dates. Not specifically, we do not need to do periods. We can customize it to maybe just for the 15th to the 18th of a month. I want to see what transfers were made, and I want them to be differentiated by category. I will go to this report. So that is for transfers and adjustments. Coming to live reports. Now, again, this is a very helpful report because this shows the live consumption report. So live consumption report is the consumption report I theoretically what the system has calculated I should have right now. So if my restaurant is functioning, orders are coming in, With every order which is updated into STO, my live consumption report will change. So, all right, here it is. So I can see uh, it will show me the product, the details of the product, the category, the pack size, the unit, what was the opening stock uh, of in, currently in that given period, any purchases, any adjustments, any sales against it, what is theoretical closing stock should be. I haven't put in the closing stock for this period, and what is the stock value. So because dry whole chilies, the first product opening stock was 5. During the period, there were no purchases, no adjustments, sales. Theoretically, right now in hand, in real time, I should have 5 kgs of red chili whole, which is valued at 10. Similarly, it shows me that penne pasta I opened up with 14.7 kgs. I have 3 kgs in sale. Theoretically, I should have 11.7 kgs left and the cost of it. So this is what is happening now. So for example, in the next 1 hour, if I sold another kg, you would see a change here in sales. So this is a live consumption report, which will give you the real-time report and will keep changing as and when data is being changed in the system. The next report is theoretical stock on a date. So basically, how through live consumption report, we are seeing what the theoretical stock should be at the end of a particular day. This report will show us, according to the system, what it calculated at on a particular day, what the stock was to be. Line count for selected date is a feature where we can take the line count, and we can do a spot check. So in the morning, my restaurant manager came in, or say my kitchen staff came in. They did a line count as to what was the day's stock, and they put it in. Now I have a report which is showing me at the beginning of the day what is there. I compare it to what the sales I've done, and then I can open this report and go and immediately check and see if there is any difference in what was there and what is not there. Very similar to the consumption report, slightly different. Then the last report is the theoretical versus line count. Again, comparing the theoretical stock versus what is there, the spot check uh, report on a particular date. We can do the comparison between that. Now, consumption report, I did explain to you earlier how it works, but coming back to it once again. Now, I am going to see my consumption report for kitchen for the second period. Now, this is a little more elaborate than the first one which I showed you. So I'll explain it to you again. Over here, it will first of all show us we have the product, the pack size unit, opening stock, purchase, adjustment, closing stock. Actual consumption is a formula which the system runs, lets you know. EPOS is what the sales have been made during that period. And plus minus variance is what percentage of variance is coming, which is the difference between EPOS and actual consumption. They could either be a negative or a positive variance. And then the cost. So over here, I see, let's take beef boneless. I had 50. I purchased 35. My stock is now at 85 kgs. 16.99 was, so let me quickly do this right in front of you on a calculator. So 50, we had 50 there. Then we purchased 35. We have 85 in hand, 85 kgs. Now adjustments were made. Now a red adjustment shows they were outward adjustments made. An adjustment was made for 69.9, which leaves me ideally with 15.1. So now my closing stock should be 15.1, but I see I only have uh, 5.1 left. So I'll do a minus 5.1, which gives me 10. So that is what the system has calculated, 10. Now, against it, I see that I have made sales for 10 kgs of beef boneless through recipes. So therefore, I don't have a variance. In the case of pork shoulder, there is a slight variance where it says that after all your calculation of opening stock, your consumption, what the system calculated, you have sold 5.05 kgs, but the EPOS says that it has only sold 5 kgs. So there is a variance of 0.05, which shows here. Now, again, as I told you earlier, You could go back and see if there was any difference in sales, maybe. There could be something left out in sales or adjustments or purchase or opening stock. So similarly for other products you have, see, we checked it on chicken whole. During our GP report, it was showing a very negative minus 840 in our actual GP. So we see here what has happened. We purchased 1500. Most likely we were supposed to purchase 150. Now that is created. So it's showing a difference of that 1350 were consumed, whereas none were consumed. So there is a mistake. So we can go back and rectify it. So this is how the consumption report works. We can again further down break it into kitchen, its subcategory or its groupings. So this is your consumption report for a period. Now we have the similar report, but those work for batches. If there were any variances in transfers, that report is the next report. Just give me a second. So that was consumption report for a period. Now the next is consumption report for a period with variance cost for batches and transfers. Specifically for batches and transfers, similar to the consumption report. Again, we can compare two consumption reports. We can see what are the consumption between two periods. So the first one was just for a period. This report can show me what was my consumption for products between the first period and the fourth period. So a matter of 4 months. Then we have stock report for a period. What is the stock at the end of a given period? Then we have stock comparison between two periods, where we can see what stock I had at the end of May in comparison to what stock I had at the end of March or the third period. This report will give us that information. Then we have the par level drop report. Now, as I mentioned, par level is the minimum inventory the system is seeing to maintain before a, it gives you a notification. So, for example, just give me a second. There was a slight technical glitch there. Now, I want to see what are the par level drops for kitchen. I've set a certain par level that at every point of time I want uh, for beef boneless, I want my par level at 5. So, at any given time, when the system is calculating, if my par level for beef boneless drops below 5 kgs, I want it to let me know. So all the products which the par level has dropped has come here. So I see that stock in hand for beef boneless, I have 4.1 kgs. My par level was set at 5. It's giving me a notification. If I enable this feature, it will also send me a notification to my email. From there, I could create it into an order and place an order to maintain my par level. So this is a report which shows us the par level drop in case there happens to be in the particular category. So that is par level drop covering stock take and consumption. Now, sales and GP, we have discussed it. Summary for a selected period. So I can again select the kitchen. I can select for a given period, show me the sales for the GP report or the sales summary for the second period. It will open it up. That orders, what are the orders I made, the amount of times it was made, the revenue generated against it, the approved orders, the unapproved orders, deliveries, if there were any supplier returns, if there were adjustments made. Now, inward are different, outward are different. What are the total sales during the period for the kitchen? I see the amount, total count for the orders are here. The transactions here, the amount is here. What was my opening stock based in value? What was my closing stock for kitchen as a whole? Now, if I can go further down and break it for meat, or I can further go down and break it for meat, poultry. Show me what was my sales summary like, what was my GP report like just for poultry. So it will show me what were my total orders, approved orders, unapproved orders, deliveries, opening stock, closing stock, gross profit, and what was my GP percentage. Here we have a very negative GP percentage. Again, poultry has an error where the deliveries show they are a lot of deliveries. Instead of 150, there were 1,500. So that is showing up in total orders, is showing up in approved orders, is showing in deliveries as well. So from here, we can see all these reports. The next is a GP drop report. Very similar to a par level drop report, but in this case, this is the GP drop for uh, a recipe, which may happen in case there is a change in procurement. So maybe for the smash burger, my GP was at 80%, 85% because I was procuring everything at a certain rate. But now the price for beef boneless has gone up by a little, which the system has updated and is calculating accordingly, because of which my GP may have dropped to 82, 80. And this report, now that item or that recipe will show under this report that there is a drop in GP. For me to make then those adjustments to my selling price to maintain a GP. Then we have the GP analysis report. It shows us our analysis between periods for us, the products, the functioning of the system. So again, it is theory how the system counts it and what actually has happened. So the first bit of it shows us the recipe name. So I can see Carlsberg is sold as a recipe. Sales group is beer. I sold 272. What the menu price was 5 rupees per bottle. After the menu price net, that is the gross, the net before tax is 4.17. I have my menu GP. Now this is theoretical. Now, what actually has happened is this is what the system has calculated. At an average price of 4.17, I sold 272 bottles, which is my EPOS sales here. Now, the recipe, it cost me 0.83 per bottle. So that is my total cost here. So now this is my GP amount, and this is my GP percentage for Carlsberg, which is 80%. Now, in the previous report, in case this drops from 80 to 85, because now my selling, my recipe cost has gone up, that will show in the previous report, and I could make changes. But the recipe analysis, coming back to the recipe GP analysis report, this is how we view it to see how our products are performing and what kind of profit or what kind of revenue we are generating against products. So this is the GP analysis, the recipe GP analysis for every individual recipe. Then we have the sales summary with theoretical GP. Again, theoretical GP, what the system is calculating and what the sales summary of the sales summary is what is coming in. So the system versus what is coming in is what is going to be shown in terms of monetary value, value amount of the stock. Then we have sales figures in sales versus GP report reconciliation. Now, this is a report where we see if there has been any type of a term which SEO uses as cross categorization. Now, sometimes what happens is that the bar could be using certain products from what the kitchen has procured. So the kitchen could have procured mint leaves, could have procured sugar, lemons, limes, but it has been internally transferred to the bar where the sales are coming. Now, the bar may be using the products from the kitchen, but kitchen is not receiving revenue against those products because in STO, if you are aware, products come under a certain category and sales come under a certain category. So the sales of the item may be going to beverage, while the depletion of the product might be going to the kitchen bit of it, which can cause a discrepancy. And sometimes we may not be able to see revenue against depleted items in the stock. This is sales figures in sales versus GP report reconciliation. Now, purchases by revenue summary is a report where we can see what were our purchases against us revenue generated against those purchases between two periods. So over here, if I'm checking for what was my revenue for beverage in period two, I see it was 27,435.83 against a purchase of 2,667 Now, this is only for period two at a GP of at a percentage of 9.72. Similarly, it's broken down for consumables, kitchens. Then I have for period two, because it's comparing between period two, three. Now in three, I see my sales went up, but accordingly, but my beverages were not, the purchase was lesser. Similarly, for period four, I see my revenue went low, but my beverage purchase went higher. So this is we can analyze how we are functioning by these figures which are being put out through these reports. So this is the last report we had under sales and GP. Now we have some reports which are specifically for admins, which could be products with no default package. We may have products in the system which have no default package. So the system won't be able to recognize what package are we ordering or what to pick up by default in a recipe. So we can go and see these products, and then maybe if we do not need them, we could discard them or assign a default pack. Now, the last is user activity. Again, these are executive held, usually admin reports, where the admin can check user activity log for orders, deliveries. Now, what time he made it, what was made, quantity put in, who accepted the delivery, what quantity, what price was it purchased at, discount, so on and so forth. All of that log will come here for all these particular things. So much so even for transfers. And this is within a period. Now, these are the secondary reports for StockTake. Primary were on the dashboard. Apart from this, StockTake has also started or will allow you to export your data in a raw format so that you could process it under your own particular softwares or different softwares if you need it. But your accumulative data can be extracted from StockTake to the data export option we have here. We can do an account export for general purpose. This could be for mainly for the accountants who need raw data to analyze the functioning of the restaurant. Then we have a complete consumption report, which can come in for what kind of, if you want to run the consumption through a secondary or a third, maybe a report which suits you, you could run through that, where you could get the results. Then we have product-wise delivery report. So what products were delivered when, from which supplier, date, reference number, so on and so forth. Then a package location mapping report where which uh, product is at which location mapped. So we can map a product in various locations once we have uploaded it at one location. Then we have the sales category report, the sales report done category based. Then we have the last three periods status for all locations. Now, when I mean last three period status, now this status is basically of what state the period is in. Now, when I mean what state the period is in, the period of the first period. If it is open, it is closed, it has been approved, what is the exact? And then we have the supplier list report as to what a kind of dealings we have or the details of the particular supplier and his products, so on and so forth. Everything related to it, but raw data, which can be downloaded by our consumers. Again, all these reports you can download, specifically the secondary reports in CVS, I'm sorry, CSV, or you can say Excel. Then you could also download it in your PDF and workbook. So these are the options we have. Also, in case you want to try and do any kind of integration, we are open to it, but that comes at a little extra cost. Uh, the last reporting for the day or the webinar is the enterprise mode, which we have, which we discussed, which is also one of the features of StockTake Online. Now, as I mentioned, the enterprise feature comes into play when there are multiple locations for multi-chain restaurants, where we can have an overall view of deliveries by location in the current week. So if you see here, under deliveries, an overview shows me delivery current this week, last week, what are the sales. Now this is then I could see it by location. Now, because there haven't been any sales, or if there have been any sales, we can see delivery by location. For Paragon, I have two demo sites here, which is Paragon and Excelsior. So it will give us a breakdown. So what is the location, the current week amount, the count for the supplier, sales by location, pending orders, period status by location, how many periods have been generated, start, end date. So all that is there. The last close period, current period, all this is a collective view of all your locations. So if I had 10 locations, all of that data will be available in one place. Then I could, this is a general overview. I could particularly go into orders and see it. I could check it for orders by location. I could put in filters. I can select a location. I could see order summary by supplier or just the order summary and put in I could select a section, beverage, kitchen. So it's a very detailed report, but a collective report of all the databases that you might be operating. Then similarly is for delivery. Again, same thing, delivery by location, delivery summary by supplier, and supplier summary. Filters very similar. Then the sim is for gross profit report. So this gives us overall uh, a collective reporting for all our locations. So yes, this is what we have in reports for StockTake. These are I have discussed in today's webinar, the major reports, the primary reports we have on the dashboard, then the secondary reports, and our enterprise feature, which is as of now free of cost. I will be free of cost, and we encourage our users to use this who are on multi-location platforms, multi-location sites. So yes, that's the end of our webinar. So do we have any reports from the few people that are there? Any questions we have? So I can see I have Oliver and Wasim and Webhub as who are attending with us today. So Oliver or Wasim, do I have any questions? You may need to unmute yourself before you can speak. Pulkit, if you can just see they are unmuted. Uh, s- so yes, I believe we have no questions. Wasim, if you have any questions, you can please mail us. The links for the first, second, and the third webinar will be available in the chat. Please do give us a feedback and also on things that you may want us to cover in the next webinar. And any questions pertaining to this very particular webinar also, please you could write us in or drop in an email. Yeah. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here in this webinar. And answered a couple of the questions that you might have regarding reports for StockTake Online. Once again, the webinars are in the chat for you to refer back to. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.